Hi, this is Dominic from Paphos Life, and this is another of my country drives through Paphos. So sit back and enjoy the scenery. We're going to be starting off near Lysos, and we'll be driving through there towards Paphos Forest on a very winding road. We'll go past the Red Lake and then down through Kinousa, Makunta until we get to Limni Pier. And then we're going to turn left and head into Polis itself. And in these longer format films, which highlight the countryside, I tend to waffle for a bit and intersperse it with the occasional music track, just so that you don't get bored of the sound of my voice and I don't have to run out of things to say about trees, if you like. Now, at the start of this, there was a nice little picnic area, not that one, just before it. I used that as one of my Calamera shots on Paphos Life Facebook page, and someone was asking me where it was. So it's on the road from the B7 to Lysos. And we're heading into the village before Lysos at the moment. It's a very small little place, Panagia. Excuse how I pronounce it. And fortunately, it was very nice and cloudy as well, with blue sky. So it makes for a very interesting top third of the picture. This is a typical Cypriot village, as opposed to a. Often when people ask, "Oh, take me to a traditional Cypriot village," they want to go somewhere like Akoursos in Troodos, which okay, is a village in Cyprus, but it's very touristy. Whereas this is just like how Cypriots live. The region around Lysos is not hugely exploited for tourism at all. There are a couple of hotels, and there are certainly villas that you can rent. But if you want to experience a bit more authentic rural Cypriot life, it's a very nice place to head to. And you've got easy access to Paphos Forest from here, as well as the north coast, with all the Kritou Bay and the Akoursos, and to the right you'll have Paphos and places like that. So it'll make a nice alternate holiday destination. Right, we're in Lysos village. There's a very nice church here as well. And there's a couple of nice taverns. And if you like exploring abandoned villages, this is also a good base because there's a few nearby. There's Melandra, Trimifausa, Zachariah was another one. And another one, I think it was called Chios. I can't remember exactly though. But they're all in the close proximity. Here's the church I was referring to. Normally when I drive through here, I don't go this somewhat circuitous route, but I just wanted to show off the village a bit. There's a very nice water feature on the right here, which you can't really see with the fixed camera. So you'll have to take my word for that. Now this route is pretty much comes up in one of our road trip ebooks, but in the opposite direction. Because the one road trips 3 and 4, which really go together, cover Kathikas on the towards the Nicosia end of Paphos, and from there to Pomos, and book 4 covers from Pomos to Polis, which is where we're going. And this will be in reverse, the final leg of that. So if you want a nice handcrafted guide to driving in this area, then you should check out our Amazon ebooks, which will have all the information that you want. They're very good value, and they're packed full of, each one has about 150 pictures in it, as well as maps, etc. And for this route, as I said, you'll want routes 3 and 4 really. Right, we turned left there. Now there's a slight difference to the route we use on the eBook, and yet I took a low road rather than a high road. But that's, other than that, it'll give you an idea of what it's like. Because this part I was a bit unsure about having in the eBook, because it's not really off-road, but it's a bit dirt tracky at one point, but without all the potholes, if you know what I mean. But it's a lovely area of countryside to drive down, and we drive here in a regular car without any issues at all. And the Red Lake is a fascinating place. There are numerous red lakes you'll find in Cyprus, and they're all associated with old mining areas. If you go there at the moment, there's not a lot of water in it, it has to be said. Anyway, we're going to have the first piece of music, because I'm running out of things to say. So I'll see you in a minute. And thank you, Johan. Right, so we're on the better part of the road that goes towards Red Lake now. They steadily seem to be improving it, because at one point it was all dirt roads, but it's gradually getting better and better. But you'll just have to take a little time to look at the beautiful scenery now. On the left of us, in the distance, at times you'll get glimpses of Limni mine itself. And Limni mine is the reason that there is Limni Pier, for instance, because that was how they took all the mineral ores that they mined down to the ocean in order to be shipped away. But even before Limni mine, this area has been mined for millennia, basically. You'll find ancient mines dotted in the hills. I love this drive. And you can stop pretty much anywhere and you'll have decent views. It's tricky though, because it's easy to get excited when you first drive down this road and stop at every turn and take pictures, and then drive and stop at the next turn and take pictures. And it's like if you go up or down a hill, if you're trekking, you'll end up with an awful lot of pictures looking very, very similar. And then you'll have to edit them all, and that's very difficult because they all look very similar and they all look lovely. So how do you decide which one is for the chop and which one to keep? So my advice is to just stop once or twice. That way you solve the problem before it occurs. But look at that. I mean the view rather than the embankment of soil. And you may meet a car coming the other way, but very rarely. If you like our films, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and share them far and wide. Leave comments and share them with your friends so that they can see them as well. It all helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to help us out financially, go to our Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com/Paphos Life. Chuck us a few coffees. They are really appreciated, I can assure you. And if you want to get something back in return, go to our Etsy shop at etsy.com/shop/Paphos Life. And there you can buy all sorts of memorabilia featuring photographs that we've taken and put on Facebook, and people have liked them, and we thought, oh, that would be a good thing to put onto a phone cover or a mug or a calendar, that sort of thing. Have a look on there. Perfect gifts for people who love Paphos. And speaking of Facebook, follow us on Paphos Life, our Facebook page, to get notified when we produce new material either on YouTube, Facebook, or our main paphoslife.com website. And finally, if you want to say hello, go to our Paphos chat group or our Cyprus chat group and join up and say hello there, or ask questions. It's up to you. That's the marketing done for another film. Okay, so we're obviously still waiting for the next music to come along. But yes, Limni Mine, I'll talk about that because, can you see it there? Yeah, a bit of it's just up there. I love exploring there. It's great if you want to find little crystals as well. I mean, nothing like extravagant, but you get rocks there. And if you hit them with a little hammer, you'll find like where an air bubble has been covered in rock, and there'll be tiny little crystals inside it. I've written a number of blog articles on that over the years, but that's one thing that we've always got a lot of pleasure out of, is just losing ourselves in the areas and the countryside around here. One time we were actually by Limni Mine, and there'd been a lot of rainfall, and the water in the stream was this milky blue colour. It's very weird. I've only seen that once, and that was in the days before I used to do lots of filming and stuff, so I didn't really get a chance to record it. I took a few pictures for a news article, but that was it. But it's a very pretty drive, this. And there are a number of picnic spots. If you go this route and you're in a regular car, don't take the side roads though, because some of them will get very muddy very quickly, and you don't really want to be getting stuck. Right, we're coming up to the area of the Red Pool, and it's just past this welcome to, I assume it's a welcome to Kinousa sign. I stopped here to have a look at it because I normally do, and yeah, Kinousa welcomes you. A couple were curious about the camera. That's not why they stopped, but they just saw me putting it back on top of the car. Oh, someone was asking in the comments, how do I mount it on top of the car? Just go onto Amazon and just search for car mounts. There are loads of different types, and find out which one suits you. But experiment, basically. And don't assume the cheapest is the best. Because the last thing you want is to be driving on a bumpy road and have your camera left far behind. One film I did, I had a 360 on the roof, and I had extended the pole quite a long way, which is a bit silly, because the longer the pole, the less stable it is. And I went over a big bump, and I heard a clunk, which I thought, that sounds like the camera's just fallen over. It's become unstuck, so to speak. So I stuck my arm out of the window, and luckily the pole rolled off the roof and into my arm, so I was able to catch it that way. And it makes for a very impressive film. I think that might actually be one of the YouTube shorts. I know I posted it somewhere. Anyway, this is Kinousa. It's another pleasant little village. Another of the villages to start with, every time I drove through it, I would get stuck or in a dead end, because the road to a church looks like the main road, but it's a dead end. It's a fairly typical water feature up there. You can see those green boxes to the left are letter boxes. Every village has them, so that people in the more remote parts of the village can go there to pick up their mail. You might think, well, why doesn't the postman deliver it? Well, they advertised a postman job for a village quite recently, and it was something silly like 100 to 200 euros a month, because obviously it's not supposed to be a full-time job. I suppose you could get lots of villages and do it that way, but if it's just the one village, they're not going to be getting paid a great deal to do that, so they're only expected to do a couple of hours, like work at it like a week even, or a bit more than that. So basically they sort out the mail, and I guess they deliver it to people who live close, and the rest of it goes into those little mailboxes, which you'll get allocated. And basically, if there's a parcel that arrives in Polemi, for instance, then the guy, the postman will send us a message, there's a parcel for you, and we'll come and collect it, which works out perfectly, to be honest, because it means we don't have to worry about being in or anything like that. And we've just gone through Kinousa now, and we're taking the long winding road down through Makunta towards Limni Pier, and I think it's time for a bit more music. So I'll leave you, I won't leave you, but let's have some more classical. There you go, nice bit of Pier gint. You may have noticed the hills to our right in the distance look rather barren. That was because it's been about 8 years ago now, just when we moved here, there were huge fires above Argaka that burned a big chunk of the forest there. And I'm guessing that they, in order to put them out so that they didn't burn the rest of Paphos forest, they had to use a lot of seawater. And the trouble with doing that, of course, is that that's very salty and it doesn't do much for the growing environment afterwards. So they're still waiting on that to recover itself properly. They have planted a lot of trees in the interim, but it still looks a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Scorched almost, really. But hopefully in the future, because as I showed in a previous article on our main website, the countryside around Polemi has done quite well at getting back to normal after the fires we had last year. So, I mean, that obviously indicates that they didn't use salt water to put the fires out there. But I guess with drought conditions and water shortages looming, the prospect of having to use more salt water to put out the summer fires this year is quite high. So people need to bear that in mind when they're disposing carelessly of their rubbish and cigarette ends. That funny, I don't know if you spotted it, there was a funny round building on the right, like a donut shape. That's, I'm not sure what it is, but that's part of Makunta. It's an interesting village to explore because there's an abandoned section that's got a very nice tree in it. It's some variant on figs grows there. It's actually fenced off, but it's a huge tree, and it's just festooned with all these weird fruits. If I had to pick a favourite tree in Cyprus, that would be in my top 10. Most of the others would probably be olives, to be honest. Possibly occasional eucalyptus as well. But so we've got past the hilly areas with Paphos forest, and we're coming to the coast now. Now, Limni mine area, you may recall from a previous film, there's a nice pier there that got damaged in the recent storms and is in need of repair. I don't know if anything's been done to it since. I do know that the Limni mine area itself has been sold off to 2 different developers, and they all have their own plans. I don't know how the pier will feature in them, because originally, when the area was going to be turned into a golfing resort, one of the prerequisites of that was that they tarted up the pier area and made it a nice tourist attraction. If they are no longer responsible for that, then all I can suggest to whoever is in charge of the area that they do something about it, because it's, given the state of our Polis campsite at the moment, they need attractions in the area. And one of them was Limni Pier. It was very popular. So it would be a shame to see that fall by the wayside too. There were reports in the paper though, the work on Limni campsite, Polis campsite, was actually being undertaken now. So I do need to pop down there and have a look and see what's going on. Speaking of eucalyptus trees, there's a few of them here. And if you go to Polis campsite, you'll see a lot of them. That was one of the first things I loved about the area, were all the eucalyptus trees. Now we're coming down to the main Polis to Kathikas coastal road. This all features on, going back to the road trips I was talking about, it'll be road trip 4. Though if you wanted to do road trip 3, you'd have to drive along this first anyway, because that's at Kathikas. There's the pier you can see on the right. And the buildings there are to do with the old mine, as opposed to like a little cafe or restaurant. And there's some more mine buildings on the left up here. just past that, and there's a little track there that'll take you to Limni mine itself. It's this one here where the sign is. And now we're on the road into Polis, and from here you'll have Lachi, and then Aphrodite's, Baths, and then you'll have the very bumpy and dodgy route to the Blue Lagoon. But we'll be stopping in Polis. Before that though, let's have one more bit of music. So we're just approaching Polis now, and it leaves just time to plug those road trip ebooks once again. There are 5 in total. The first one is the Kathikas Panagia loop, and the blurb for that reads as follows. Let me take you on a journey around the region of Paphos, Cyprus. Starting at Paphos itself, we travel to Akoursos, then Kathikas, Kritou Terra and Simou. We continue past Lasa and Kannaviou before taking in the delights of Panagia. Getting a bit more adventurous, we visit the abandoned villages of Statos and Agios Fotios before passing through Choulou, Letymbou and Polemi and rejoining the main Paphos to Polis road. The route is suitable for all types of vehicle and requires no off-roading. The guide contains about 130 photographs, including shots of all the road signs you need to pay attention to, as well as some of the highlights you may experience along the way. There are also several maps, and it goes on in that vein. And as well as that route, there's also Paphos coast to coast, Kathikas, Panagia, the North Paphos coast, and the 5th one is Napa, Paphos and Limni. So check them out on Amazon. You'll find in the description there's links to all of them. So if you're thinking of going around in a hire car, they will certainly save you a lot of bother. And on that note, I'm just going to come into the end of the film. There was this is when Polis Carnival was going on when I finished here. I wasn't aware of it at the time though, which is why the film ends rather abruptly. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers!